So what are we doing on our 1-3-3-1 up ice? So the first is F1's responsibility. F1's got to count numbers. He's got to force it out of the keeper's hands, if you will. A lot of teams run this double late. So we do a good job here. Now we're in our 3-1 flat. That's pretty good structure by us. We're protecting the middle of the ice. Now anything that comes in on our forward side, our F2 is always the scraper, we call it. He's basically influencing anything back to the top. Our F1 comes back to the middle of the ice to protect against these hook-in plays where teams look to attack off the rush. And we talk about triangulation in the defensive zone on our in-zone structure, but it's the same thing coming off the rush. We have to protect the guts of the ice. Again, good stick on puck by Ridly Greig, and now this is a four-go situation for us. We got a guy into the pile, we got a guy above, we got a guy below, and we have our safety valve in the middle of the ice. This is a situation where we want to have numbers and people to the pile. Again, F1 does a good job. He forces it out of his hands early. Now that's a perfect picture for us. We're 3-1 flat. Our middle D, our Rocket D, is going to take the speed through the middle of the ice. And now, again, if you can force teams to unload the puck, now that triggers our four-go situation where we're going 100 miles an hour. We do a good job here, good stick. Again, Barry talked about it, winning our 50-50 battles. We do a good job of this. And let's look to go. It's something that we preached, and we had a lot of shorthanded goals in the second half of the year. It's something that not only if you score, it can create momentum for your group. It creates a little bit of swagger and momentum if you see that the penalty kill is having opportunities offensively. So here, I talk about kill zones. So they disguise this as a single late to Gaudreau. They have speed. Our F1 does a good job. He counts numbers. He doesn't allow four to get above him. But we want to dig in kind of at the dot, the blue line as best we can. But with these single late or double barrel breakouts, sometimes our kill zone has to be kind of 5 to 8 feet inside the blue line. And we do a good job there just because we don't have our gap to readjust on that. And we go down and score a shorthanded goal. Our F1 forces it out of his hands early. Again, these are all entering on the forward side. We're inside the dots. We're protecting the middle of the ice. Again, like I mentioned off that face-off, we know our strong side D knows that it goes up and back down on the strong side of the ice. That is a trigger for our four-go. There we do a great job of this. And again, let's get going. Let's try to score. The last two clips I'll show you on the forward side is a lot of teams kind of come double barrel, and they're trying to change sides through the neutral zone with your F1. That's why we kind of morph into a 3-1. But anytime that our forward can read or he's outside the dots, we encourage him to swing in, especially on those double late power play breakouts. And I just want you to watch Ridly Greig here. We talk about counting numbers. He shoulder checks once, shoulder checks twice. Make sure that he always sees two in front of him. Again, another visual of a swinging. Let's try to force it out of his hands as early as we can. Again, pre-scout oriented. We wanted this puck to be entering on our defenseman's side this game. Here they come. Giroux is outside the dots. He sees this as an opportunity. He uses his sense. He swings in. He creates the turnover. So what are our roles and responsibilities when the puck enters on our defenseman's side? It changes a little bit. But right now, this is a great visual for us. We're 3-1 flat. He knows he has middle speed. We have stick on puck. We force a player to elevate. Now it's a bobble. Again, now it's on. The difference entering on the defenseman's side, our F1 would always scrape. He would eliminate that reload back to the top. There we do a great job. Our F2 has to come back to the top of the triangle to protect the middle of the ice, and our middle D would always have the speed through the middle. Here's another visual of it. Again, this game we look to cut the drop on them. We're trying to funnel everything to the D side. We close, we scrape, we're back to the top of the triangle, we create a turnover, we make a small share, and again, let's get going north there. We score a shorthanded goal. Last couple here for the D, and I want you to watch Bernard Docker. He swings his arse to the middle of the ice here. Now he's inside the dots. And there was a goal that was scored the other night in the Edmonton-Florida game where the Florida players were outside the dots and his toe caps were going the opposite way. And obviously it's Connor McDavid, but he made the two of them look silly instead of protecting the guts or the middle of the ice. So great detail there by Bernard Docker. We get going on in the power play there. here again. And this is something that you can work with your defenseman before or after practice, is playing this 2-on-1 if you're playing a 1-3 or a 3-1. And, you know, you look at forwards, you know, they work on their saucer passes, you know, over sticks, through feet. It's the same concept for defensemen. We have to have the ability to break these plays up. There we do a great job, knock down Aho's pass. Again, we want to reestablish our gap as best we can once our F1 forces them to unload this puck. I want you to watch Artem Zub here. Again, arse to the middle. Now he's inside the dots and he has lateral gap where he can squeeze on any sort of kick out. He squeezes. Our middle D is over speed. Now we have numbers to the pile. We have one above, one below. Our safety valve through the